What's up, Internet? Cory Zamier here. Collecting with Cory. We're back with the Collecting with Cory Show. I know it's been like, what, 7 months?
It's been a while.
It's been a fucking long while. And you have the honor of being the first Collecting with Cory Show guest that I don't propose to.
I hope it doesn't end this way.
I mean, I don't have a ring on me.
Alright, well.
But let's see how it goes. This is my friend Ted. I don't know if he's ever been on camera before. He's just been spoken about whenever he gives me packages and shit like that.
I may have snuck in once.
Yeah, maybe. I actually don't recall, to be honest.
Right.
We are on our way to Retro Games Plus in Newington. Just figured we'd record something. Shoot the shit.
I'm going to be giving directions throughout this, so I apologize already.
Yeah. I have no idea where we are already.
It's all good, so just...
I already have no clue.
Just keep going left. It's all good.
Alright. So
what do you got?
What do I got? That's
Questions?
A good question.
Alright, I'll start then.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was the first console you ever owned?
Owned would be the Sega Genesis. I think I've talked about it before on the channel. I previously was Indian given an NES from my cousins. Back then, I guess we didn't really establish whether or not it was going to be mine, but they gave it to me with a whole bunch of games. I remember playing it back when I was in...
Hang right here.
Back when I was in, like... Oh, what grade was that? Like 3rd grade? 2nd grade? One of those grades. And I remember coming home from school one day and it was just gone.
Sounds awful.
And I think later that year... Because this was around the time when Super Nintendo was out, so later that year my mom ended up getting me a Sega Genesis with Echo the motherfucking Dolphin.
That game is hard.
That game is shitty. Like, underwater levels suck.
That game
and
is
that's
nothing
the whole
but.
thing. And also had probably like Sonic the Hedgehog 2, so, you know, at least it was that. But
Sonic's good, though.
Given that we were always renters back then, it didn't really help that one of the 2 games I owned was garbage. How about you? What did you start out with?
NES.
Oh, that's much better.
Yeah, no, I mean,
And actually owning it.
I've kind of determined I got it maybe Christmas of 88, 89. Apparently my grandmother asked me what I want for Christmas. I proclaimed loudly Nintendo. And
back
there
then
it
she was
was.
probably like, what the fuck is that?
I mean, it was the late 80s. Everybody knew what it was.
Oh, yeah, I guess it had been like 3 years.
You know, so, it was kind of, you know, on everybody's forefront as far as video games go. And, like, what do kids want that are, like, 6 to 10 years old is probably a Nintendo. First game I got actually was not a packing game. It was Iron Tank.
What bundle did you get? Do you remember that?
It was just the
control deck?
The control deck, yeah. So it had the 2 controllers and the hookups and the system, and that was it.
No gun?
No gun, no game, no robot.
Nope.
So, you know, it was a basic system. So they had to get me a game, and I assume Iron Tank was there, you know, $20 or whatever. You know, who knows? But I love that fucking game. That game's great. We can swear on this channel, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, yeah, you do all the time. That's right.
Come on.
Okay. Yeah, no, I have fond memories of Iron Tank, and then someone gave me, like, Ghosts and Goblins later on.
Oh, that's a pretty good one.
I mean, it's good.
I mean, it's gonna break your soul, but...
It's hard. I still suck at that game to this day.
Yeah.
So, kind of building on that question, what's the first console you ever bought with your own money?
Oh, jeez. With my own money... Well, PS2 was a Christmas gift, so it wasn't that. It might actually, like, if we're talking, like, home console, we're probably talking...
Yeah, home console.
Xbox 360.
Yeah?
Yeah, because... Like, handhelds, I might have bought 1 or 2, like, on the way, like, maybe the PSP.
Yeah.
I might have had that before. I know I bought that one on my own. But, like, as far as mainline console, it was usually, like, a Christmas gift, a birthday gift.
Well, they're not usually cheap.
Yeah,
so.
Like, yeah, the 360 I ended up getting on a Black Friday when it wasn't on sale whatsoever. because I was stubborn. That was back when Suncoast still existed.
Oh my.
Unfortunately, not all Suncoasts. It was like in that interim phase where they didn't have video games at every Suncoast. And we went to the mall, the one over, in Meriden, and that one at the time didn't have any video games still in, like they had phased it out. So we had to go all the way over to Bristol, which is, 2 towns over or so.
Bristol's not that far.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know, but like, paint the picture. And by then, they hadn't opened yet, so we were waiting in line.
Continue.
And they're eventually, like, I think they were giving out tickets or something, because we never actually made it into the store. And they said something along the lines of whatever Xbox 360 bundle they had, they only had 2 of them. And the 2 people, like, multiple people in front of us were here for that. So this particular Suncoast is literally right next to a GameStop. We went next door to the GameStop, and I just fucking threw out however much money it was to buy one. Not on sale, nothing. No, I don't even know if I had a game with it. I just bought it just to buy it. I might have bought like whatever Halo game was out, play Halo 3.
Oh,
it was just like fucking the worst. The worst.
You can hang it right here.
How about you? What was the first one you ever had to buy for yourself?
I saved up my weekly $20 allowance.
Yeah.
In 1997 to buy an N64.
Oh, wow.
I only had enough for the system, so I had to rent Super Mario 64.
Now, was that right when it released? I don't remember.
No, because that system came out in 96.
Yeah.
So summer of 97, I had enough money to scrape together. I think I'd borrow like the tax money from my mother or something.
Kids don't plan for tax.
No, we sure don't.
You don't pay tax yet.
Go let. So yeah, to rent Mario 64, obviously I loved it, and then wanted to buy it. So a couple weeks later, I bought it, but I had to do everything all over again.
Oh yeah, because
it saves to the cartridge. Yeah. But that's okay. I didn't mind.
Yeah, it's not a game that would be the worst thing to play over again. From the
no,
beginning.
It sure wasn't. I've played it a couple times. So it was a lot of fun. What was the most disappointing game you ever bought? Not received as a gift, but bought at like full price.
It's actually a very recent one.
Oh my.
At least it's the main one I can think of, because I played it for a little bit and then just had to get rid of it.
Is
because
Splatoon 2?
I didn't buy that at full price. That
Okay.
was like, pre-owned. I don't really consider that. I'm talking like brand new, bought full price.
Just hang left.
And needed to get rid of it because it was just so bad. And that it's going to be controversial because a lot of people like the game. Puyo Puyo Tetris.
I'm going to be in the right most lane here.
I have never played Puyo Puyo before, and I never will again.
No, you're going to go straight.
I don't know if you have any experience with Puyo Puyo, but...
Very little. I have played Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, which I think was
like the
Puyo
same
Puyo.
thing. The problem I had with this game in particular, I never got to the point where you can play, like they mix it up where it's like you play a little bit of Puyo Puyo and then it switches to Tetris and then back and forth. I got it for the Switch mainly because it came with a cool box and a keychain for like $40 or whatever it launched at. And I wanted to get that because, it sounded great. I've loved puzzle games throughout the years like Dr. Mario, shit like that. And I never played Puyo Puyo. I love Tetris. Puyo Puyo is just garbage. And the way they present it in that game, if you haven't played Puyo Puyo before, bend over, they're going in. Because it puts you against a computer opponent that is just railing you the entire time. It's just like, oh, this match that could, against a human opponent could last a few minutes, but against a computer when you don't know what you're doing or how to play the game, it's over in about 25 seconds. Like, they just pile it up on you. And you're just like, oh, what were we even fucking supposed to do? Like, I feel like the best way to learn that game would probably be just to watch the opponent scream while you do nothing. Because it doesn't really give you that much of a tutorial other than, like, this is the basics of the game, but it doesn't explain how fast it's going to go and what is going to happen when you have opposition.
Yeah, this first exit here, too.
How about about you? What was your worst game that you ever purchased with your own money?
I don't know about worst, because the game isn't awful, but the story behind it and what I should have gotten in place of it is probably where it lies. So, again, when Nintendo 64 came out, you know, the hottest game of '98 was GoldenEye. GoldenEye was very big.
Yep.
So I went to KB Toys, your KB Toys.
Yep, I used to work there.
Probably not then, no.
Yeah.
You had to go left at the light. I went in there looking for it, just expecting to find it on the shelf, because I was, you know, a dumb kid. And they didn't have it.
No, of course.
Sold out. So I was like, well, I want to get something, because instead of saving my money,
oh shit,
I just bought something. So I ended up buying Wave Race. Which, like I said, it's not an
like,
awful
it's not
game.
a bad game, but like when you're expecting GoldenEye and you come home with Wave Race, that's kind of a bad day.
It was. I mean, like I said, the game wasn't awful, you know, but I wanted to shoot, you know, Cerberus.
Especially like, well, yeah. Plus, back then, like, N64 games, I never really had to experience it because I was a PlayStation kid. But how expensive were the cartridges back then?
First party stuff was $60.
Really?
Yeah.
I could have sworn I saw, like, them list... Maybe it was Super Nintendo games that were always, like, way more expensive.
Well, no, because N64 games were that expensive, but it was third party stuff. So, like, Turok was like $80.
Oh, okay.
85. You know,
Okay.
But the first party stuff, Nintendo really tried to keep at that $59.99 price point. You know, so like Zelda, you know, Super Mario 64 and stuff like that. It was all, you know, $60. So GoldenEye was published by Nintendo, so it would have been $59.99.
Yeah.
So I had the same money. I'm gonna go right here. It's like a weird little right. I follow that guy. So yeah, I had a replacement Wave Race instead of GoldenEye. It was. I mean, I ended up getting GoldenEye later,
yeah,
but
you gotta, but
yeah, it was.
Yeah, like back then, I never really understood like what a $60 game was, because I remember seeing like old ads, and even back then, because my mom worked at KB Toy Works before I did, and I used to hang out there. So a lot of what I would do is I would be like people's consultant when they would come in and needed to know about games. I never really paid attention to the price stickers because, you know, I had a PlayStation and I knew that any new game was going to be like $40.
At high most like $50.
I could have sworn like PS1 was like $40 for most games. Like I think Final Fantasy Tactics, when I got it, was a $40 game.
It maybe I wasn't buying PlayStation
was, like, day
games
one.
Brand new.
Yeah.
When they were coming out, because I didn't get my PlayStation till like Christmas of '99, I think.
Yeah.
2000. I was really late on PlayStation because I grew up Nintendo. You know, so I took a little while to get that PlayStation, but.
Yeah, for as much as I love Nintendo, I really didn't grow up with it as much as a lot of people did. Started out with the Sega Genesis, had a Super Nintendo late, never had an N64, got a GameCube late after the PS2.
That's probably why you're not attached to 64 now.
That and it looks like garbage now.
Well,
like, at least like some PS1 games didn't try and do like the full 3D thing. Like, you know, if you look at Final Fantasy Tactics, like that game still looks amazing by today's standards.
Well, they're sprites.
Like Final Fantasy 7 though, garbage.
You can't go back
Looks
to
like
that.
it at least.
No, I can't go back to that early 3D stuff either.
Even like PS2 stuff is like semi-manageable. Like you can see what they were going with at least, for the most part.
Oh yeah.
But like when I had gotten the GameCube, it was a birthday. It was technically a birthday present that I hadn't even really asked for. And you could actually speak to this because you were around for it. Everybody that we knew back then was playing Animal Crossing.
Oh.
And was fucking obsessed with it.
Oh my god.
But couldn't really explain to me what the game was about.
And you still can't.
You still can't. It's been like almost 15 years probably, and you can't really get a good beat on what Animal Crossing is if you just try and explain it to a person. I tried playing the 3DS game and I couldn't get into it. I didn't know what the fuck I was supposed to do. I just kind of had a house a little bit.
At the light, you're gonna go left. So my Animal Crossing story is this. So when I was working at GameStop, I'll touch on that in a moment. there's some stories,
Yeah.
some good stories. There's no arrow with this either, so you're just gonna have to wait. I was huge Nintendo guy. Everybody knew it. You know, I collected. I had, you know, everything Nintendo.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing comes out, and I was like, I don't really know what it is. I don't think I really need it. So my manager at the time, a guy named Mike, he's a super nice guy. I haven't seen him since, you know, I quit. And he's like, come on, you know you gotta have it. It's Nintendo. I was like, you know, whatever. I don't know.
First party Nintendo game.
That's right. Yeah, he assumed I needed it. So I was like, I don't really need it. So I come in like a couple days later. He's like, I bought you something. He bought me fucking Animal Crossing. It's like, all right, I'll give it a try.
I mean, it's a gift. You have to.
Well, no, and then I tried it, and I was like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing, but I need to finish. I need to do this. I need to pay off this house to this raccoon.
It's Life Simulator.
Before he comes and breaks my legs or something.
Yeah.
You know, and definitely be sure to save your game, because that fucking mole he'll rat you. You know.
Yeah.
He'll talk. So, Mr. Rossetti.
Yep.
So I show the game to Rob, our friend Rob, who's also a huge Nintendo fan, and his wife at the time, Kelly, and like we ended up playing it all night one night. All night. It didn't make any sense. The next day, because they already had a GameCube, they went out and bought Animal Crossing. They started taking time off of work.
Jesus Christ.
Like, she's an avid, like, knitter, crocheter, crafty person, and she ended up, like, abandoning all that just to, like, play this stupid game. And so the most amusing thing out of that whole situation was our friend Dave.
Yeah.
Dave was PlayStation.
Yep.
He loves black things, death, you know, skeletons, and, like, you're gonna go right at this light here. You know, he went Xbox when the 3 systems came out.
Yep.
He bought a GameCube because of fucking Animal Crossing.
See, and that's the thing. I talked about the GameCube so much because all of you guys talking about Animal Crossing, and I never ended up getting Animal Crossing.
But to this day, I still don't know why we were, like, magnetized to it. Like, I don't understand the phenomenon. And it was only that first game, because I tried playing other iterations of it, and it just doesn't have that same feel.
It's that Nintendo crack. They just sprinkle it on there when you're not looking.
But like I said, it was only that one.
Yeah.
Like, I played the DS one. I played the, you know, I forget what else. The Wii one. Like, I couldn't get into them like I could that one.
On everything by now.
You know, I don't.
They just came out with a mobile game for it, so.
They did. I have not tried that, but I've seen people trying it. So yeah, GameStop. So
yeah.
I worked at GameStop at the end of the Funko Land era. The 659, that store, it was a good store. The store's closed now, up the street from the West Farms Mall. I was there from like 2005, no, 2002 to 2007. I want to say like 5 years, maybe 2003. And, you know, as GameStops go, it was regular GameStop business, and you know, but we had a good crew, a lot of interesting customers.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You know,
I see them just like going into GameStop, just, you know, being a customer myself. I see them like waiting in line, talking to the people.
You get all types, and then they eventually earn nicknames, you know, based on kind of personality traits and how they act and stuff. Nothing derogatory. You know, just kind of cute little nicknames for each guy. It's like, oh man, there's I forget one, but some of the situations that happened. I'm gonna continue straight here. One of the most memorable was the midnight release of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Yeah.
I don't know if I never told you this story.
I don't think I've heard this one.
Okay, so midnight release. You're gonna go in the left lane because this turns right. Again, sorry for the directions. So, midnight launch. They do that for all the popular games, or at least they did in our store. You know, Madden, stuff like that. Console releases. That was another big one. But San Andreas was like October 2005, I think. Be sure to correct me in the comments there, but I think it is 2005. October. And so we're doing business, taking money. Pre-orders are being picked up. We're gonna go left at the light. And this kid comes up, and he's like, "Hey, can I see that?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." I turn around and I grab him, and he starts looking at the back, and he books out the door.
Did he yell GTA motherfucker as he did it?
No, he just ran out the door, and I was like,
if he did, and you gotta give it to him.
It would have been in the spirit of the game,
yeah.
But I was like, what the hell do I do now? So because I got 5 people behind him, like I can't chase after him, So thankfully, my manager Mike and another manager from a different store were coming out of the back room, and I was like, Mike, the kid just ran out of here with the game. And they run out there and they look for him, but I mean, it's midnight, you're not gonna find the kid. So from there on out, whenever somebody asks to see a game, I was like, now there's a copy on the shelf you can look at, only for a little while. And then as trust builds again, and or if I know the guy or something, you can see it. So yeah, that's one that really sticks out, because I mean,
speaking of that, I know that Sam from the flea market has actually had a similar experience as someone that went into a GameStop and asked to see something and they wouldn't let him see it. So
really?
I think that's like a thing now with the company, where it's just he has to see like some collector's edition for some 3DS game. It might have been Bravely Default or something when it came out, and they were just like, and they kind of like held it far away, like so he could physically, see it but not touch it, because they're just like, no. So yeah, that's possible. That that's a trend now.
I mean, keep in mind that was 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Even Bravely Default was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So, or around there. Yeah, take it right here. So, I don't know if it's like company policy now, but I gotta imagine working at that store kind of sucks now.
Yeah, well.
Because even like back then, it was fun, but it had its shortcomings. Like I was assistant manager, so whenever my manager got shit on, I got shit on, and I have to be like, well, what can we do to improve this, but we had a good, like, I don't want to say indie store feel, but I feel that we kind of ran that store like it wasn't part of a corporation. Like we tried to do things a little differently, and we put a lot of effort into it, like facing out certain titles that we want to sell and whatever. And for them, it's all about like sell subscriptions, sell pre-orders, and that's all it is. It's all about numbers.
If they want the disc protection. I don't know if they had that back then.
They did. They started that.
I still think that's like one of the weirdest things to ask somebody, where it's just like, hey, I'm getting this PS3 game that's on a Blu-ray that you pretty much have to take a hammer and a chisel to do anything to. Yeah, and it's just like, do you want the disc protection on this for an extra like $2? It's like, it's a $10 game. No. No, I don't.
Well, for PS2 games, we did have a couple people take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And then actually have a few even replace their discs, which is fine. I mean, they were covered by it. But
I mean, if I was paying $2 for a disc protection, damn well.
You might as well beat it up. Yeah.
Fuck that disc up.
So yeah, it had its shortcomings, but it was a lot of fun. Other things that happened. Kind of blanking at the moment. I mean, I caught one of the employees stealing PSPs from the back. Because when that system came out... It
must have been when it came out, because like that system did not really... I don't feel like there was that much of a market for stolen PSPs.
It didn't last that long.
Yeah. At
least the original model. So yeah, when it come out, we started taking them in used. It must have been, I don't know, half a year after they were coming out, because they were still expensive. They were locked up in the back cage. And one of our employees, he was stealing them. And when I caught him was when my manager went down to Texas for the annual managers conference.
Yeah.
Every manager goes down to Texas because that's where they're in Grapevine. And, that's where they talk about, new stuff coming out, new policies that are being implemented, whatever. And so he's down there. I'm in charge because I'm assistant. And I noticed a couple, PSPs missing. I was like, well, Only 2 people had access to this.
Yeah.
One's gone, and you know, the other one is not me. You know, and excluding me out of those 2. So I was like, well, chances are it's probably this guy. So my manager calls me up. He's like, hey, how's things going? I was like, well, we got a little problem. You know, I don't want to burden you with too many details because, you know, you're in Texas.
Yeah,
you don't
you're
have
doing
to
your
worry
thing.
about
You don't want to
this.
fuck with this shit while
You know
you're
where we are
going.
now, right?
Yeah, is it
go
right or
here.
left, though?
It's right here, yeah.
Okay.
Because it's like right there. And it's a weird back way I go.
I know, because like there were so many times, not to break up the story, but where I thought I knew where we were, and I was just like, nah, I don't know where we are anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the way I take to the shop. So,
Yeah.
So I was like, hey man, we got a problem. Someone's stealing PSPs. I think I have an idea who it is.
How many employees were there at the store back then?
Let's see. That'd be like 7?
Oh,
6 or
okay,
7.
okay.
So a couple part-timers. He was a part-timer. Because,
So at least there were some options there where it's just like, it's not obviously this person. Like you had to actually figure it out.
It was a little obvious, only because it could only be a couple people. Because obviously it couldn't be the manager. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
It wasn't the other 2 key holders, you know, because they weren't there. You know, after I had noticed, because like we had like 6 and then we had 4.
Yeah.
You know, so it was pretty sudden. I was like, well, there's only a couple people that worked in here. Used my Batman skills to figure out who did it, and I was like,
detective mode.
I was like, man, I think it's this guy. So you got to talk to him. So the manager came back. He talked to the guy, and the guy admitted it. You know, he's like, well, you know, obviously you're fired. You know, that
Now,
sort
do
of
the
thing.
police get involved in something like that?
If GameStop wants to press charges,
Yeah.
it's up to the company to press charges, not up to like the manager or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know if anything ever came of it. You know, I don't think he ever went to jail for it or anything.
Yeah.
You know. Now we're here.
But people don't know what they're doing.
No.
They're very indecisive as far as where they want to park, how they want to back out, stuff like that. Okay, so we should probably do this again sometime.
I agree.
Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see Ted on more videos. Hit that thumbs up button. And if you have any questions for him, we could probably do this again sometime, I don't know, soonish.
Whenever.
We could ask him, maybe like an Ask Ted, I don't know. But we're going to head into this Retro Games Plus. I'm going to try not to spend any of the money in my pocket. I'm probably going to fail. Like the video. Subscribe if you're new. What comes next?
Keep it real? No. I forgot.
And as always, keep it real, internet.
That's right.